Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm Sam Madavi coming to you this week from the Savoy Automobile Museum at the 3rd annual Connection Car Show right here in Cartersville, Georgia. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. This is gonna be one awesome car.
And I said, it doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
We're here at The Connection, a very special car show held at the Savoy Automobile Museum in Cartersville, Georgia. This is only the 3rd year of this car show, and with limited spots, it was a great opportunity for everyone to get a spot, and they were completely sold out. There is such a diverse group of vehicles here, domestics, imports, and trucks with ages spanning a century. I'm here with Eric. He's got an open wheel race car. The reason why I stopped at this one is because we just finished a great race and there was a lot of these on the race. One actually won. It was a 1916 Hudson.
A custom steel body built on a 1931 Ford Model A running gear. Styled after the old race cars that they ran in the 20s and 30s. Guys would run them on fairgrounds and all, and they'd still run cars like that on Indy too.
So what kind of powertrain would a Model A have?
It's a 4-cylinder, 201 cubic inch, flathead, 3-speed transmission, mechanical brakes. And this still has the stock running gear. It's all been rebuilt. Had it since 2018. When I bought it, it was kind of a static piece of art. A gentleman had built the body, set it on non-running chassis.
Got it.
It's just artwork. So I spent about a year and a half and way too much money making it what I wanted. I had the engine rebuilt by a professional company. Other than that, friends of mine, we did everything else on it. And it allowed me to give it my personal touches.
Yeah.
You know, when I bought it, it had like chrome on it that didn't fit. So, you know, like this is an Alfa Romeo grill. That was chrome. I just sanded it down, started to see this, say, okay, I like this. I'd like to redo the interior with leather and a little more vintage looking.
I love it.
But the other touches I've done to it, I think are pretty period correct. So.
I love the little luggage on the side.
Yeah, that's
too.
my dad's.
So cool.
That's my dad's old lunchbox. That's my toolbox.
That's so cool, man. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thanks.
What a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
I was walking by and I caught my eye this beautiful Mercedes replica car, you say, right?
It is. We saw it up in Hershey, Pennsylvania a long time ago when my idiot buddy worked for Mercedes. And I drooled all over the car. And he called me about 2 years later, said they're going to put it up for auction. Are you interested? And I said yes, and gave him a number. And he called me about 2 weeks later and said, come get your car. And so I've had it since 2000. The car has won a lot of shows. It's done very, very well, but it is not an original. The last original sold for $10.8 million plus fees, which brought it up to about $11.8 million after everybody got finished taking their. One of the replicas was for sale for $1 million, and he was very unhappy because he only got $762,000.
That's pretty impressive. Now,
I thought
how many replicas did they create?
3. One of them is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and then the other one was in San Diego area, and now this one.
What did they build them for?
Lend to movies. You don't lend an $11 million car to a stuntman and say, do your thing. That's kind of careless.
What kind of Mercedes is this?
This is what they call a 540K Special Roadster. Special with a Z, Special Roadster.
I am here with Steven Schumacher. He is part of the Cartersville Tourism Board. This place is known for the city of museums. There's 18 total. Right now we're at the Savoy Museum. We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by only in CartersvilleBartow.com.
At Lokar, we tend to stay away from things that already exist unless we can find a really good reason to create one for ourselves, whether that's for style, application, quality, whatever that might be. In this case, I actually needed some trim washers for one of my Jeeps I'm working on, and I couldn't find big trim washers. I couldn't find trim washers for half-inch flathead bolts, and I had a need for it. In this process, I found the need for full-size and for a compact version, and the difference is the outer diameter. The heights are the same. This is going to allow you to put a flathead on a flat surface that's raised. Gives it a nice look. These are available in, we call bright finish. They're going to be available in black and polished, and we're offering these in kits and in 5-packs. It's a really simple product. It elevates the look of your ride for any surface that you might need. Instead of a hex head bolt, you want to just have a unique flat look. We have them on our website. Check it out at lokar.com.
I'm here with Linda, and how cool is this? This is her daily driver. Plum crazy paint. She just came back from Carlisle. She drives it there and back and all over the country. Welcome back to more of the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by the Savoy Automobile Museum. I'm here with Hobie Earnhardt. The story behind his Buick is absolutely crazy. I'm going to have him tell you about it. It's been in the family since day one.
It's a 1950 Buick Special, commonly known as a Seednet. This car was purchased new by my grandfather in 1949. I literally grew up in the back seat of this car, hanging on the ropes, using the head ornament as a gun sight as Granddad drove down. When I was 15 years old, because it's an automatic, he figured I needed to learn to drive, and this was the car to learn. It's the first automobile I ever drove.
Now, your grandfather bought it at 80 years old.
But he'd always admired Buicks. And when he was about 79, 80 years old, they discovered gas on the farm where he lived. So he got a few bucks and went out and bought himself a car, brand new Buick. But he lived to be 100 and drove till he died. So he got his use out of it. My dad inherited it from him. Dad only had it for a couple of years.
And the only thing he did was paint it.
Repainted it and had a little chrome work done on it.
But it hasn't had a blown apart restoration. This thing is pretty original, still put together.
Absolutely. I did replace the interior. It just evaporated.
Yeah.
People think I modified it, but it's the most inconvenient design ever conceived in Detroit. A tool that comes with it, and it unlocks in the portholes.
I'm here with Scott and his beautiful, really a sleeper truck, because from the outside, you know, old school truck with some patina, you open the hood, you see the engine swap. The chassis is completely done too.
Well, it's got a Scott's hot rod chassis underneath it, Coyote engine in the engine department. It's a Gen 2 Coyote with a Gen 3 ported and polished intake on it.
Very nice.
Other than that, stock.
Was the chassis thought of to be dropped the way it was already notched when you bought it from Scott?
Yeah, it was designed to set this low.
Underneath the hood, you know, the Coyote engine we've talked about, it's a hard swap. Ford's a little special, so you got to be very good at what you're doing when you're doing a swap this clean. Patina on the truck. It looks a little unusual. Where'd it come from?
Well, this truck originally sat in a horse pasture field for 20 years, and it was a horse's chew toy. And whenever we picked it up and put it on a trailer, the horses actually followed us out of to the end of the field because they didn't want us to take the truck from them.
That's incredible. I heard that story. Like, there's no way, but you can see it.
Yep.
And the fact that it lived 20 years in a horse pasture and it's all there, it hasn't been rusted out. Is this a hobby or is this what you do?
No, this is just a hobby.
Really? How long did it take you to do it?
It took me 2.5 years once I got the chassis.
How long have you owned the truck?
We've had it for 7 years.
How long has it been completed?
About 13 months.
Very
we put
nice.
8,700 miles on it since it's been done.
Who helped you with the build?
I had a friend, Andy Sauerbauer. He helped me with some of the wiring and stuff, and my wife helped me with some of it, and that's it.
We'll be right back with more of the Savoy Automobile Museum, brought to you by Car Capsule. I took a 1978 Bronco and put fuel injection on it, and I took off this Holley carburetor, and I mentioned how I was going to ship it off to Riley's Rebuilds to have her rebuild it. Well, time flies, we all get busy. So I found out here she is, tuning carburetors for people at the Connection Car Show here at the Savoy Automobile Museum. And I'm like, you know what? perfect time to hand it to her.
Yeah,
Here you
perfect,
go,
perfect
Riley.
time. Thank you so much. This will help because we have little ones that are now specializing in auto lights, Hollies, so they'll love this one. Little ones as in high schoolers, so I'm in college now and my little brother has brought some of his friends. We have 5 girls and 2 boys. My old high school didn't offer any auto trade, so it was a good outlet for them.
It's cool that you're really involving the youth, especially on something so hard that's going away by the wayside.
They're Legos, they're not that hard.
They look like they're hard.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Connection Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule. I'm here with Ron, and what a story with his Am Excited AMX. This thing was crushed in Hurricane Sandy by a tree.
Right. Neighbor's tree fell on it, crushed the garage, smashed the car down to the window line.
That's incredible.
So it took out the roof, the quarters, the doors, the trunk lid, everything from the firewall forward was fine, but everything back was all crushed.
So what was your next plan? What'd you do with it?
I advertised to get another one once it was totaled. Then a fellow called me and said he had a car for me. He offered to buy mine, and I asked him why. And he said, well, I'll fix it, and then I'll sell it. I said, well, I'll tell you what, you fix it. If I like what you do, I'll buy it back. So he paid me for the car. He picked it up. He drove it back up to Vermont. He fixed the car. Inside a week, he had a new roof on it. Inside a month, he had the whole car done. We drove up. I gave him his check back, and I took the car back home.
That is so cool. I can't believe he did this in a month.
Yep.
Incredible. One-man shop, you said?
One-man shop. He did it all by himself. And he had 4 or 5 or 6 other AMXs on the property, so he knew what he was doing. He was actually restoring cars for people across the country.
So what year did you get it back, fully done and restored, back in your possession?
Well, the Sandy crushing happened in 2012, and I got it back the same year. Like I said, it was just a couple of months later.
Wow.
Well, I've done some modifications to it. Blacked out the hood, I put the louvers on the rear windows.
I'm here with Callahan, and behind me is a beautiful bag, 73 Hearst. I want to have him tell you all about it.
We've had it about 2 years now. Kind of the whole plan is to keep it looking completely original. So that way, if you walk up right up to it, you wouldn't know anything was ever done to it. Like, we still want it to look like a hearse, like it could take a casket and go do a service right now.
Yeah, but you actually went in there, you added some protection, you rebuilt it a little bit better than what
Right, so we did a bunch of sheet metal work to the floor, we did all new wood, all new carpet, all new vinyl. Basically everything in the back half of the car is brand new. We did a step notch, custom 4-link, it was originally a leaf spring rear end, so it was a lot of work to get it this low.
Now you actually had to cut that whole entire floor out and move it up 3.5 inches.
Right, so basically from the partition back, got completely gutted and then refabbed everything.
What do you plan on doing with the hearse once you're done with it?
Currently, I don't have any plans of getting rid of it. We've kind of teetered with the idea of like renting it out for movies and services and stuff like that, but it's only been done about 2 weeks, so we're just kind of still enjoying it right now.
Now, what do you do as a profession? Is this your hobby or is this your job?
So I've worked in the restoration industry for a long time. Currently, I teach welding full-time at a local technical college, and then I just kind of play with cars on the side still.
What's the name of the college?
It's Chattahoochee Technical College.
Really? And so you got youth and adults in it at the same time?
We cater from dual enrollment high school students.
You teach them welding. From there you can fabricate anything.
Everything. We've got fabrication classes. They learn anything and everything they want to.
Mary, I was walking by your car and I noticed the valve cover and I said, that's a Nissan valve cover. But the rest of the car doesn't represent what I know of a Nissan Z. And you introduced me to your husband, the builder. I want to know about this car. It's so cool.
Thanks. I call it my 15-year love letter.
That's awesome. Why is that?
Because my husband spent 15 years building this for me.
Wow.
Started out as a 76 280Z and then my old 78Z engine, and we just kind of went from there.
And this is metal.
It is metal.
This isn't glass.
This
the only
is metal.
thing that's glass is the rocker panels.
That's correct. We've both been into cars for a long time. He wanted something that didn't look like a Z car when he got done. He also wanted something that reminisced of the 70s European sports cars, being of Italian extraction.
And it's one of one. Like anytime you go to a car show, you're gonna be the only one with something like this.
I'll be the only one with a Frecciarossa.
What a great story. And what do you call it?
Frecciarossa.
I love it. I was talking to your husband, and when he was building it, he thought of serviceability.
Yes.
A lot of times when people are building these very expensive cars that are hiding everything, and then when something happens, you don't get to fix the car because it's so hard to get to everything. You almost undo everything that they took so much time to make pretty.
Easy to get into the glove compartment and reach a pull-out fuse box.
beautiful 1969, all matching numbers Camaro. If you guys own something like this, you want to preserve it and take care of it, you got to check out Haggerty. We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule. Bob's got a rare one here, number 326 of 500. It's even equipped with a 3LT package. Welcome back to the Connection Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule. The Savoy sits on beautifully manicured grounds with all the best amenities. On a hot summer Georgia day, you can find a relief from the heat inside the museum, where they have their incredible permanent Savoy gallery and exciting and rare temporary galleries that are always being refreshed. There's a Savoy Cafe where you can enjoy lunch or venture back outside to one of the many food trucks and treat stations. There's a play area for the kids and more shade in their complimentary shade tents throughout, or hang out in their massive pavilion. Check out all the great vendors that joined in to make this car show live up to its name, The Connection, the bridge between the museum, the enthusiasts, and the community. If any of you guys are familiar with Sam's Garage, you'll see Doug and I racing a 1972 Datsun 240Z in the Great Race. So as I was walking by, I saw Steve's 79 ZXR, and the color just had to make me come ask about the car.
This one right here is one of 1,000.
Wow.
It was built in 1979. Only thing special about it was the stripe package and the whale tail.
Now, why did they call it the R? Weren't they planning on doing something with this?
They put an R on it as race so that Bob Sharp and Paul Newman could have the whale tail to go racing. Paul Newman in 1980 at the Road Atlanta, he was driving a 280 ZXR with the whale tail. Actually, it's an eBay car. We bought it in 2006, had it shipped across, and then spent 2 years getting in shape. We've been driving it ever since.
You drive it cross country to car shows,
yes,
right?
We went to ZCon in Colorado Springs, 1,000-something miles out, 1,000 miles back. The engine is original. The transmission I swapped out for a BorgWarner T5. And I swapped out the rear end for an R200.
Did you put the LSD in it as well?
No, that was too expensive.
Yeah. We did on Sam's Garage one of the seasons with the GTO replica car, and Doug has it, and it's based on a Nissan Z chassis. We did a Ford engine with the T5, and we did the rear end as well. So that was really, really fun. I'm here with Alex in the beautiful 635 CSI. This BMW is very special. I had a couple customers that I had to take care of these cars for 20 years, so I know them well. This is what made me love cars, is 80 style BMWs.
Well, the car is an 89 E24 635. It's been garaged, all its life. I bought it in California and I brought it to South Carolina 10 years ago. It was restored in 2021, not because it needed restoration, but it needed to be freshened up. We put a little more power in the engine. We did work on the transmission to match the power from the engine.
Really?
And then the differential, we did the same thing.
No kidding.
We lowered the suspension just to match the...
So are you the original owner?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's even more special.
Oh, this is my baby. My wife hates me for it.
That's a competition, right?
I'm trying to do the math in my head because I had to change the speedometer. It's registered with the South Carolina DMV when it got changed. When we changed it, it was about 128, 129,000.
Was this the last year they made it?
Yes.
And so this is the last year they made it, and that's why it's got the little ground effects to where they incorporated the bumpers into the car?
Exactly.
Before, it was just a bumper.
It was just an elephant could sit on it.
Yes. And then they added this and they brought it all together and made it like monocolored. Right. It looks so much better like this. This is the best looking CSI that they made amongst the years.
And that's why I bought this.
We're here at the Connection Car Show at the Savoy Automobile Museum with Tom Chanel, who's the Director of Development, and behind us is what named this museum.
It's funny, like here we are, we're in Cartersville, Georgia. We are on 37 acres. Here's this world-class museum. You see structure behind me, and you pull around the driveway, you come in, and then, okay, here's this car museum, and the first car you see is this. Well, every car has a story, and there's a reason that this car is on display at Savoy. In 2018, we broke ground to build this museum. And in doing so, we started clearing the land, 37 acres. As we clear it, we unearth this automobile, okay? Not multiple cars, not pieces of a bunch of different cars, one semi-intact automobile.
Right.
And it was at that moment, there were trees growing through it, vines, we dug it out, the clouds parted, the sun was shining. It was that moment where it's like, here's an omen. We're building a car museum and we find a car. It just happened to be a 1954 Plymouth Savoy.
That I didn't even know existed.
We didn't even have a name for the museum, and it was at that point we're like, you know what? We should do something about this. We could tell this car's story because it's a part of us now. So we made it our namesake. Savoy Automobile Museum because of a 54 Plymouth Savoy found on property.
The Connection Car Show here at the Savoy Automobile Museum is all about connecting the public with the museum. This is one you really want to be a member of due to the rotating exhibits. Join us next week when we go inside the Savoy and show you those exhibits along with all the amenities. For me, that's a wrap.